My name is Minerva Canston. At this moment, I lie on my deathbed, an old and weathered woman. In my dreams, these dreams, I am young and guilty. To progress, I must build. To build, I must destroy. My entry into the world cost my mother her life. Devastated, father raised me alone whilst running a construction business, though his true passion was science. Although he sacrificed much of his life to his studies, he was determined never to neglect me, nor even his business. In my dreams, the streets are empty and lifeless. There is neither person nor creature left to fill them. The air hangs thick with sickness and death. A castellated abbey looms over the distant horizon, above buildings devoid of vivacity. The God-fearing people saw science not as progression, but as a nebulous threat, resistant to the unequivocal potential that with science, we ourselves are gods. It is for this reason that Father's studies were performed discreetly.
Oppression.
He would unearth the secrets of our world for the benefit of those who would hang him for his selfless act. The most brilliant, wise, and altruistic man I would ever have the privilege of knowing, reduced to something so beneath him, a construction worker. It's barren, a blank canvas, but for the occasional splashes of crimson. The men and women would paint diagonal red lines on the outer walls of tainted households, one for each of those infected. When the infected passed, new lines, mirroring the previous ones, would be. One summer, Father fell deathly ill. He lay debilitated, inert, and pallid. He passed, leaving no legacy, although he left the apparatus I needed to build one of my own. I would be his legacy. The world's rejection of his work was born of childish phobias of the unfamiliar. I contrived to prove them wrong. My goal was to devise immortality, so that none would ever again suffer the forlorn sorrow and grief that I now felt. The world is as a banquet ruined by an uninvited visitor, all vitality cut from the air. The atmosphere is heavy, the monstrosity that gave it such density departed long ago. Its feast finished, its gluttony exhausted. Still, the weight of its presence remains. God, I had inadvertently sentenced them all to their doom,
Reckless.
proved their aversion to the unexplored valid. An infected person would at first begin to pale, and after a span of days would start to bleed unendingly. My search for eternal life had led to death, and only to death. The Red Death. My father was a man of altruism, and in attempting to actualize his dream, I was to become the mother of pestilence. As the plague enveloped the earth, rumours of unaffected areas would arise. The people tried to escape to those sanctuaries, but I intuitively knew its devastating power. There would be no safe haven. But it was not the plague that I hoped to elude. This new, more efficient breed of blood-draining decimation was swiftly presumed to be an act of God, and in their panicked terror, they turned to science, beseeching me for their salvation. I had no answers, no solutions, no remedies, only my secrets and shame. I fled, seeking a place that didn't know me, somewhere that was a stranger to me, resorting to utilising what I had inherited from my father and my own resourcefulness. I built a construction business and waited for the horrors to fade, fearful that they would take me eventually. The Abbey, which I now approach, was once owned by a young prince. As the engulfing outbreak threatened to reach his home, he locked himself and other nobles inside, and threw an extravagant masquerade ball. The townsfolk congregated there in hopes of safety, but to no avail. The prince had taunted death, and death is vindictive. Guilt is is not a sensation that one can be easily liberated from, and in surviving the rest of my days, I was in hell. I spent many years witnessing my abomination destroy men, women, and children, the rest of the years observing its aftermath, observing those left behind, trying to rebuild anything of normality in the wake of such destruction. Nobody was left untouched, and everyone thirsted to know what or whom was to blame. As the distance between myself and the Abbey narrows, I reconsider its significance. It is not a shelter. It is a tomb. It is a sepulchre to which I feel a strong gravitational pull.
Sobering, isn't it? Seeing them spread out like that, a number so vast even the horizon's curve cannot comprehend it. Come hither to find what you seek. Your birth was marked by death. Some would see that as ominous. But people only see what they choose to see, and when what meets their sight is something that they do not immediately empathize with, they attack it, oppress it. You sought to prove their anxieties about the scientific as arbitrary, but you were naive, toying with forces beyond your ken. Your recklessness led to nothing but suffering, but through suffering, progress can emerge. In their panic, they finally welcomed science wholeheartedly. Progress for men and women better than yourself is built on the foundations of the death you caused. Perhaps you were not an omen, but a pioneer. The despair, the agony that you inflicted upon humankind was unprecedented.
All of my beautiful boys, gone.
I would have done anything for my daughter, but nothing I could do was enough. You took her from me.
I lost my mother, and then I was lost too.
I was nothing without my friends. You made me nothing.
Entire families, friends, mentors, scholars, neighbors, whole communities simply erased from history because of you. If you had confessed your faults to the world and accepted your punishment, would this have satisfied you? Would this have satisfied anyone? The concealment of what instigated the virus pushed humanity to seek meaning. Your legacy is a scar upon this world, a scar that will always remain, but the world will heal. Perhaps they may even learn from your mistakes. With their unsanctioned sacrifice, the world is now on a path to progress. To progress, one must build. To build, one must destroy. This does not redeem you. There's nothing for you here but an end. Though in this end you may find peace. Now you must decide as you draw your last breath, accept all fates, or let guilt be your oppressor.